for customers. I've worked on Panoramas. Okay, a lot of Panoramas, even the latest ones. Okay, I worked on 7000 series firewalls, the chassis-based device. Okay, now let's go to the next slide and see the difference between traditional firewall and next-gen firewall. So as you can see, the next-gen firewall increases the capabilities a lot. So if you know about the OSI layer, the data is present at layer 7, right? Let me try to annotate this so that we can talk. Yeah. So the data is present at layer 7, right? And the Palo Alto Firewall, sorry, I'm just using this. Yeah, the Palo Alto Firewall, as you can see, it will be able to differentiate based on the data that the traffic is carrying. Okay, and the traditional firewalls, it will just say, okay, allow port 53. Yes, Pankaj?
No issue. By mistake, I press.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so as you can see, if DNS usually works on which port number? UDP 53, right? And now if BitTorrent is also working on the same port, UDP 53, then the traditional firewall will just see, okay, this is UDP 53, allow this traffic. Now this creates vulnerability in your network. This is the visibility that the traditional firewall has. Now the next-gen firewall will check the layer 7 content. Okay, this is BitTorrent. This is DNS, even if it's on port 53. Okay, and it will deny the BitTorrent traffic. It will deny the BitTorrent traffic. Okay, it will only allow DNS. Now, how this happens in Palo Alto is based on something called App ID. I prefer to write it down on the text. This pen is not working correctly. Okay, there is something called as App ID. Okay, what is App ID? It is a list of signatures by Palo Alto. We can also see all the signatures out there that Palo Alto has. You just go to a website, applipedia.paloaltonetworks.com, and you'll be able to see thousands of app IDs that Palo Alto supports. You can allow Facebook chat, block Facebook upload. You can get as granular as you want to get. And that's the power of Palo Alto. That's why it sells. Okay, not like traditional firewalls, just allow port 53. That's the main difference when it comes to how the next-gen firewall operates than traditional firewalls. Okay, now layer 7 traffic. Okay, we're getting to some point. I want to block or allow traffic based on their data. But if you think about 80 to 85% of the traffic on the web is SSL. Correct? SSL is encrypted, is trusted only between two parties, that is client and server. It creates an SSL tunnel. Now, if the firewall cannot see what is inside of that SSL tunnel, the firewall cannot identify what app ID it is carrying. For that, the app ID will be only SSL. Now, you've just lost visibility on the 80% of the web traffic or 80% of your entire traffic. Now, where is the purpose of app ID then? if you cannot even use it. That's why we have something called SSL decryption. Okay, firewall, the Palo Alto Networks firewall can do SSL decryption. Now it uses forward proxy for that. So it uses forward proxy for that. What is a forward proxy? We'll discuss this in depth during the entire course, but it will sign certificates on the fly. Okay, it creates two separate tunnels. One tunnel will be created from client to firewall, and one tunnel will be created from the firewall to server. Okay, that's how the firewall will be able to inspect what is inside of your layer 7 traffic, or what is inside of your data, your packets. Okay, this is the power of Palo Alto Networks. Okay, now there is something called Content ID in Palo Alto. Now, what is Content ID? I'm talking so many things while the introduction, but these 3-4 features are what and why the Palo Alto Networks sell so much. Content ID is all the content level inspection or deep packet inspection that Palo Alto Networks support. That's it. That's what Content ID is. But there is so much to Content ID. Okay, you have URL filtering. You have URL filtering. You have antivirus. So I'll just go to the previous slide. Are you comfortable if I present like this, or do you want the full screen? Anybody?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine, sir.
Okay. Antivirus, anti-spyware. Okay, URL filtering, antivirus, anti-spyware, then vulnerability protection. Vulnerability protection. Now the main thing is WildFire. All of this you might have heard before, but the main thing over here comes this thing, WildFire. Why WildFire is such a big thing in Content ID? Because it helps to prevent zero-day attacks. Now, what is a zero-day attack? A zero-day attack is something that is not known to anybody in the world. Okay, it's a new attack or a new malware. Now, how Palo Alto Networks will stop this? It will send a copy of that layer 7 traffic or your file to the WildFire cloud. And that file will be inspected in a sandbox environment. And you will get a verdict in 1 minute or 5 minutes. Okay, now they also give verdict in real time. Okay, but you need a WildFire license for that. That's how fast you can start to stop a zero-day threat. That's why Palo Alto Networks is so popular with its content-based inspection and Content ID.
Sir, I have a question in this. So let's say we have a zero-day attack, okay, in the firewall. Okay. So firewall, what it will do, it will like decrypt the packets, okay.
Yeah.
And it will find the what's a pattern. I think there is some pattern kind of things.
Yeah, pattern matching. So it does pattern matching for both Content ID and App ID. Yeah.
Okay, and it's a zero-day attack, and firewall and all. Like, no one knows that this kind of pattern. Okay. So, are you saying that Palo Alto has all the patterns? Okay, and if it is like matches the thing, if it is not matches, so it will send to the WildFire, for the inspection, or like how it's work? I just wanted to.
So okay, yeah, very good question. So how it happens is, so for zero-day attack is that something that we don't have a signature for. Okay, one thing. Now
Correct.
everything works on signatures. Okay, for App ID, Palo Alto Networks has signatures. Okay, everything is cloud delivered. It keeps updating. Okay, now you have to connect to update.paloaltonetworks.com in order to get the latest signatures. That's another thing. But for example, this is something that we don't have a signature for. Okay. Now, Palo Alto Networks Firewall will try to look at that traffic, inspect that traffic. And if in case it doesn't have a signature for, and it thinks this can be a malware, the traffic will be allowed the first time. This is very important. The traffic will be allowed first time, and a sample of the file will be sent to the WildFire cloud. Okay. Now the WildFire cloud is a sandbox. What is a sandbox? Wherein you put that file, you wait to see how that file reacts.
Sir, if the file, like let's say file is allowed to the user, so attack is happened, I think. Okay, so I think in further there is no need for to send the WildFire and
yeah, but you can actually stop further attacks. You can stop that. You can stop that attacks on all the entire other Palo Alto Networks firewall. So this is exactly what happens on all the other firewalls as well. Like it's not specific to Palo Alto. Okay, if you don't have a signature for, then the traffic will be allowed, because otherwise there might be so many things in the internet that you don't have a signature for. Okay? Because internet is very vast. Okay. Otherwise, the user experience will be very much hampered, and that's not what enterprise customers want. Palo Alto Networks is an enterprise level device.
Like I am not blaming the Palo Alto or all of the vendor firewall. I listen to podcast. They're saying that there is no such kind of zero-day attack who can prevent that zero-day attack. That is so correct.
You can say that, but that's how selling happens. To be honest, that's how selling happens.
I got it.
And to be honest, there is limit to
company. Okay,
yeah. So there is limit to even how much SSL decryption you can do. There is limit to how much content ID inspection you can do. There is limit to how much app ID inspection you can do. If in case the firewall will not be able to inspect your traffic, you have to allow it or drop it. It's your option.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one quick question over here only.
Yep.
If you allow me. So this Palo Alto also just duplicate as soon as we receive the first packet of this in our firewall. So does this also duplicate the packets as well?
What do you mean duplicate the packets?
Duplicate, like it's as you said, it sends the one copy to the WildFire as well.
There is no duplication here. So it's just, so as soon as we receive the first packet is usually a SYN packet, right? There is no data in that SYN packet. So the firewall has to build a session first. Okay, and a lot of processing happens in between. So first there is ingressing stage, then there is slow path stage, then there is fast path stage, where the actual content ID happens. Okay, so once it gets to that content ID part, only then this URL filtering, anti-spyware, vulnerability protection, WildFire, these things will happen.
I understand, but in like in FortiGate, like it duplicates the packet. So in that scenario, it saves the processing time. So does this kind of situation happens here as well in Palo Alto?
No.
So it is just going to take some much time as compared to FortiGate, right?
No, it is a single pass inspection. It is a single pass inspection. Every packet is inspected. Okay. If it has not reached its limit, then every packet is inspected. Okay. And once it sees, okay, this file might be a malware, this seems some suspicious file, and I don't have a signature for this, then okay, I'll send it to WildFire Cloud. Okay, and this happens in line.
Okay, so it basically checks all the all the packets, not this like there is no option for first packet and all, right?
No. It checks everything. It checks everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Now, yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, as you said that WildFire is means when it get the packet, so it send to the Sandbox. So my question is that Sandbox box is same as Deception server. It is the same or it is something else?
This deception server, I'm not sure about this term, to be honest. I'll check on it and let you know. But you know what Sandbox really is? Sandbox environment is, it's a you can say it's a computer or a server wherein you put a file and you wait for it to react. Okay. Now it can only destroy or react on that particular computer. It is like a limited environment for that malware file, executable file. Okay, that's what a sandbox is. Okay, keeping that malware file completely separate in that sandbox environment and trying to see if it is a malware. That is what sandboxing is.
Okay. So I think it is same as the deception server. Means it monitors its behavior, right?
Yeah. That's what it's doing. Yeah, that's what it's doing.
Same like a deception server.
Okay. So deception is kind of a checkpoint term or FortiGate term.
No, means it's actually I work in guarding or different technology. So there is a deception server use. It's micro segmentation. I think you have heard.
Okay.
Fine.
Now we discussed app ID, content ID, app ID, content ID, SSL decryption. Now there is one more thing that the Palo Alto is quite famous for, and that is user ID. What is user ID? It can either be IP to user mapping and group mapping. Nowadays, you need to see who logged in at which IP, because your enterprise environment is over the globe. You have sites everywhere. Okay. With the help of user ID, you'd be able to catch who exactly logged in where. Okay, this is the power of the user ID. Now, how Palo Alto gets the user IP information? It can get user IP information from a lot of various sources. The most reliable is GlobalProtect and Captive Portal. The most common that you will be seeing is agent monitoring or server monitoring. Okay, now it will try to see in the Windows server some logon events. I think it is 4676, something like that. I'll check that again. It will try to see Windows Server logon events and update in the Palo Alto database. Now you will be able to create user-based policies. This is very powerful. And group-based policies. People get confused that if I'm fetching IP mapping, IP user mapping, I will automatically get group mapping information as well. But that's not the case. Group mapping information also comes from the Windows server. It comes with the help of LDAP config. Okay. User IP information comes from the logon events. You have to log into the AD or domain in order to create that logon event. Okay, this is something different, but both are components of user IP mapping or user ID. Sorry.
So sir, when we create the firewall policy from LAN to WAN, let's say, okay, so we call the group only the group, not the IP address, correct? Is that so?
Yes.
And in the event, we can see that this user has this IP. Is it correct?
Yeah. Now you don't have to check that server anymore. You just check on the firewall. There is a command show.
Correct. Got it. In LDAP, so we don't need to show in the Palo Alto. It is visible in the let's say monitor section. I don't know the CLI command. Okay.
Yeah. I've been used to working on CLI a lot, but that's why I say CLI. Yeah, but we'll cover everything. We'll cover everything. How to check on CLI, how to check on monitor. In Palo Alto, the GUI is so powerful. You can troubleshoot 90% of the things from the GUI. You don't have to go to TAP. You don't have to talk to anyone. The GUI, if you're very strong with GUI, you can troubleshoot everything. Okay, most of the things. Okay, now there are multiple benefits of having the IP user mapping on the firewall. You can create user-based reports on the firewall. Okay, for auditing purposes. And you can enforce policies based on
firewall
user. We can create user-based reports on the firewall. There is a section called custom reports in the under monitor tab, wherein we can create user-based reports. That is very useful for auditing purposes. So that's what I do on a daily basis nowadays. Okay, so and this will be relevant for big enterprise customers. Okay, wherein somebody left the organization and he was under the radar, and you have to find out what traffic he visited. Okay, then probably you need that user-based information in that report. What exactly where destination IPs he visited, what applications he was using, all sort of data will be presented to you based on that user. So that's very powerful. That's very powerful for those customers.
Yeah, of course, because
Okay, let's clear this out. Now we understand what exactly is the difference between traditional firewalls and the next-gen firewalls, right? Now there is more differences that the next-gen firewalls will also support a lot of other capabilities, like it will support a remote access VPN solution. Now, all the features that we spoke about, app ID, content ID, user ID, and decryption, you can enforce everything on your remote user. Okay, now we do, as a Palo Alto Networks, we do that thing with the help of our GlobalProtect solution. That is our remote access VPN solution, similar to AnyConnect, but very advanced. Okay, let's move. So we discussed what SSL decryption is, what app ID is, what content ID is, and what user ID is, and the importance that all of these things carry. Okay, now SSL decryption is also relevant in terms of every networking device that will inspect. This is also very relevant to all that cloud security providers as well. So we have to do SSL decryption if in case we are using Prisma access as well. Okay, it will improve visibility of traffic. Now everything is done using this single pass inspection. Okay, you will hear this term single pass inspection a lot. Okay, all of the vendors nowadays are selling this term single pass architecture. Okay, but Palo Alto Networks introduced this term single pass inspection. Now, what is this single pass? If in case URL filtering is not able to block this traffic or block anything, then the next engine will try to block that, or the app ID will try to block that. Okay, so it cannot get past all of those engines. So we have URL filtering, we have app ID, we have antivirus, we have anti-spyware, we have vulnerability protection, we have WildFire. Okay, now all that malware or that file cannot pass each and every engine. It will be stopped at some point. That is the power of single pass inspection.
Sir, I have a question here. So let's say we are going to block some application, okay, or some website. Okay, so this is the approach given by the customer. Okay, so and we need to apply that, okay, in the firewall. So like, where should we start? Like, we should block in the application level, or we should block in the web filter level, or we should like firstly block in the DNS level. Okay, so I think DNS level, firstly it will like it should be blocked by DNS level, or like,
so you should introduce security step by step. That's the approach that you can follow. Okay, because when you try to migrate from a legacy vendor to Palo Alto Networks, you cannot implement security fully fledged. The customer experience will be very, very damaged, to be honest. Okay, because you have to block a lot of signatures then. Now, how I do it, I start at a limiting phase. Okay, now we are only blocking critical threats. Okay, critical and high threats we are blocking. Rest, medium, low, allow it. Medium, low, informational, allow it. Allow, don't completely allow it, alert it. Okay, there's a difference between alerting it and allowing it. Allowing will not log that threat in the monitor tab. Now in the security world, what we say, if in case you allow, if in case you don't have a log, it never happened. Okay, logging and visibility is very, very important in security world. Okay, you have to know what exactly happened. Okay, so alert all that threats. Okay, now your question that, okay, you want to block a website. There are multiple ways we can do it. You can use URL filtering. You can use app ID, right? Now, I would suggest use app ID. Okay, because the signatures keep changing on the app ID. URL filtering is blocking based on the SNI header, mostly, if in case you're not doing decryption, or the server name. Okay, that's my recommendation, use app ID. But if in case you can use both, like if in case you do an app ID and then put a layer 7 URL filtering profile on that, then you can do a single pass inspection.
Perfect. Good.
Okay. We'll come into each and every of these scenarios. Okay, I'll also create a lab for you, wherein we'll see these scenarios. Okay, we'll allow Facebook, but we'll block Facebook login, or we'll block Facebook chat, or we'll block Facebook upload. That's how granular we can get with Palo Alto.
A kind of CASB solution, like
CASB is like, yeah, but CASB is for the SaaS application.
Yeah, it's for the SaaS application. We control
CASB
we
is
have
very
the granular
powerful.
control. Yeah,
CASB is very powerful.
I think Palo Alto has the SaaS solution.
SASE,
SASE solution.
Yes. So our SASE solution is the most complete SASE solution. Okay, it has Prisma access. It has CloudGenix SD-WAN. Okay, we are very few vendors who support both SD-WAN solution and the secure service edge.
FortiGate is one of them,
But how often do you see FortiGate being deployed as a SASE solution?
Actually, I am in I'm a consulting company who is deploying the FortiGate. Okay, we deployed like multiple FortiGate SD-WAN. Okay, and we are working on it also for the customer.
Did you see the quadrant that was released yesterday? Magic Quadrant.
No.
So the Gartner survey. The Gartner is a very big company. It releases a Magic Quadrant for secure service edge and next-gen firewalls. Okay. Now there were 3 organizations that were considered as leaders: Netscope, Palo Alto Networks, and Zscaler.
Yeah, for the SASE, they are in the top. I know that.
Yeah.
But the term is like a single vendor SASE. There is a term also. Okay, so like who is in that race? Single vendor SASE, like the single vendor has their own SD-WAN, there is own firewall, and there is own SASE services. So in this term, I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Palo Alto Networks is a leader over there as well in the complete SASE solution.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Abhishek here. Yeah, actually, I work with Zscaler.
Okay.
So in like, using Zscaler also, we can do like all the things that you said about Facebook, like logging, like, like restricting access and stuff. So how is it like, Palo Alto Firewall different than, like,
Now, when we are comparing two vendors over there, that's, to be honest, a systems engineering question, to be honest. Okay. Now, if somebody asks me, why Palo Alto, or why should I choose Palo Alto and not Zscaler? Okay.
No,
now,
I
for
mean,
that, we have to do vendor analysis. What is something that Zscaler
yeah, I mean,
cannot do?
Yeah, I mean, even when we have some proxy, right? From like for example, like a blue code proxy or something, like on a proxy device, we can still set up all the SSL blocks and everything that you're saying about the Facebook, right? So my basic question is like, how is firewall different than a proxy setting? Like, like a proxy device
So
and
proxy.
firewall.
I have also, so Palo Alto Networks recently introduced proxy as well, secure web gateway, if you're talking about that. Now, secure web gateway will only be able to inspect proxy aware web traffic. Okay, now most of the traffic on the web is 80 or 443, right?
Well,
But
that depends on the
there are gaps.
configuration. Like it could be a transparent proxy or like an explicit proxy. So if it's explicit, then it should be aware. But if it's transparent, then traffic shouldn't be aware of it.
Yeah. But mostly when you see in the in situations in Zscaler, you guys mostly deploy the secure web gateway, if I'm not wrong. The transparent proxy, I've not seen that often in Zscaler. And it is only comparing secure web gateway solution to the Palo Alto Networks solution.
Okay.
Because that is, Zscaler is a secure service edge solution. Okay. And we compete with Zscaler in that segment only. We don't compete with, they don't compete with us on our next-gen firewall. They don't have a next-gen firewall, right?
Right.
So if you have to deploy a firewall in a data center, you cannot go to Zscaler, right? You have to come to Palo Alto Networks or come to Checkpoint or Fortinet.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, it completely depends what your requirement is and what throughput you need. If in case your requirement is secure service edge and Zscaler, I remember it gives you 1 gig throughput on GRE. Right. Now we give 1 gig throughput on IPsec. They give, if you need IPsec 1 gig, you have to come to us, to Palo Alto Networks, because
I mean, it is a technical specs. Yeah, difference in the technical specs. Okay.
Yeah, you have to understand what your requirement is, and everything comes down to the point. Then okay, Zscaler is offering me this. Palo Alto Networks is offering me this, which is easier to manage and deploy as well. Okay, a lot of aspects, and then the pricing as well. Palo Alto Networks work on licensing model. Okay, and Zscaler, I think it is user-based licensing. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, now we'll dive into what kind of content we'll be covering in the entire course. Okay, if you have to become a PCNSE, then probably I would suggest at least have 3 to 6 months of hands-on experience on Palo Alto firewalls. Okay, check how the monitor tab works. Check how to take a packet capture. Check how the NAT is defined. Okay, we'll cover every NAT scenario, like U-turn NAT. Okay, and we'll cover DNAT, we'll cover bidirectional NAT, we'll cover source natting. Okay, we'll cover every NAT scenario as well. We'll cover every security scenario. We'll cover decryption. We'll cover captive portal. Okay, these topics that I just said are part of firewall essentials, configuring and managing Palo Alto Networks next-gen firewall. Okay, we'll start from the basics, like what are the different licenses that Palo Alto Networks firewall have and how to activate them. Because that will be the first step if you're deploying and you're new to Palo Alto, right? So start from the scratch. Once you have your licenses, you can connect to the update server. I'm sorry, you cannot connect to the update server. The next thing will be you have to log into the firewall and give it a management IP. Okay. Now that will be covered in day one config. How to do day one settings of the Palo Alto Networks next-gen firewall. Okay. And then probably when you can connect to the UI, GUI of the firewall. You can put it in the network. And then we'll cover rest of the details. All the other security features and also the networkings of the firewall. Because still, if it is deployed in a network, you have to understand where it is exactly deployed. Most often, the firewall you will see deployed at the edge of the network or at the core of the network if it's at a data center. Okay, so these are the two main points wherein the Palo Alto Networks firewall are deployed or locations. Okay, now there are deployment modes in Palo Alto Networks. If you want to deploy in layer 2 mode, you want to deploy in layer 3 mode, you want to deploy in vWire mode, you want to deploy in tap mode. Okay, so we'll cover where exactly and why exactly we'll need tap mode or where exactly we'll need vWire mode. Okay, vWire is quite common wherein we want to replace our competitor. We just place our vWire mode Palo Alto in front of that competitor, and it will also inspect the traffic. Now it needs no IP address in that case. But if you deploy in vWire mode, definitely you won't be able to take the capabilities of the layer 3 device like IPsec, GlobalProtect, captive portal. I think it will work in vWire, but I have to check. But yeah, GlobalProtect and IPsec, these are the two main things I remember. These will not work in layer 3 mode. In vWire mode, I'm sorry. Okay, so Panorama, managing firewalls at scale. So suppose I have 300 or 400 firewalls, and I have to update policies on each of those firewalls. And some of those firewalls are PA220. It will take me a lot of time to do that, right? And I will need a very big team for that. So this will create a lot of operational overhead and administrative burden. So we need a solution for that. Panorama is where this comes into picture. Panorama is solving this problem. Now you can also forward logs to the Panorama. Panorama is just a managing server, okay? Just think about it. Panorama does not inspect. So people get confused. It does not even have a data plane. Firewall is inspecting the traffic. So if in case your Panorama goes down, your traffic will not be affected. Your visibility might get affected. Okay, that's key. So people get confused with that. So I can push a single policy to all the 300 firewalls using Panorama. And all those 300 firewalls can send their logs to me. I don't have to log into each firewall to check what traffic is it inspecting. That's the power of Panorama, managing firewalls at scale. So we'll also cover Panorama, how the device group hierarchy works, what is template stacks, how to send logs to Panorama, how to send logs from Panorama to a SIM server or a syslog Splunk, anything that you want to do. Okay.
Yeah, hi guys. Sanmay, sorry to interrupt you. So guys, previously whatever the batches we guys are delivering, that is excluding Panorama and the GlobalProtect, because without the licensing that cannot be covered. So now this is an advanced batch. So we are going to cover this Panorama as well as GlobalProtect. Right, Sanmay?
Yes, yes. So
Thank you.
GlobalProtect will be covered in Firewall Essentials. Okay. Now this is a very key component in a next-gen firewall. And we want to inspect all our mobile users. Okay. This is a very key component in a next-gen firewall. We'll be covering the GlobalProtect solution that the Palo Alto Networks offers. And there are a lot of connect methods in GlobalProtect. We'll discuss everything. Okay. Managing firewalls at scale. The Panorama solution, where exactly we can deploy Panorama. It can be virtual, it can be hardware. Okay, it can be in the cloud, it can be at a private data center. Okay, how many firewalls we can manage from a single Panorama. Okay, it completely depends on the licensing that you have, to be honest. Okay, and also the hardware capability or the virtual machine capability. Now we'll also dig into the troubleshooting. As we deploy each and every solution of Palo Alto, we side by side cover troubleshooting of every feature. Okay.
Hi. One thing I wanted to just know, is this is this a combination of AI like a Panorama?
AI, no.
Or
this is a Palo Alto proprietary solution. This is a Palo Alto proprietary solution. And
I wanted just yeah, please go.
Okay, so Panorama is it's a PAN-OS solution. Okay, so every vendor will have their own operating system, right? Every vendor can build its operating system and put it in their hardware or put it in a VM, virtual machine as well. So Panorama is an appliance that will help you to manage your firewalls. Okay, so if in case you have 100 of firewalls and you have to update a single security policy on all of those firewalls, you have to log into each of those firewalls and update the policy. That will take you a lot of time. But with the help of Panorama, if you have put now every firewall, 100 firewalls will be in the shared device group. Okay, we'll cover the device group hierarchy, but I can push a single policy on all the 100 firewalls. Okay, I can.
So is this through CLI or it like we have any GUI option? Because in FortiGate we have only like there is only CLI. We have to just run a script to just like implement the 100 a policy in multiple devices. Right?
Yeah, it's a GUI solution. Panorama, it's GUI solution. It can, but yeah, you can also go into CLI and do a lot of things on the Panorama. But most of the administrative work you guys will be doing, it will be on the GUI. Anybody was saying something about FortiGate?
Yeah, I was saying FortiManager also supports the GUI and CLI both. I forgot on that. Like it's kind of FortiManager, the PAN-OS. Sorry,
the Panorama.
Yeah, Panorama.
For FortiManager. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
On FortiManager, but we in FortiManager we have the option where we can implement the policy in multiple devices, but through the script only. Otherwise, we'll have to just go to the login into the different like open the different devices and then implement the policy. But here you, as we said, like we can implement a policy in 3,000.
Okay, we need to just focus on 40.
Is it just me or he's breaking?
No, he's breaking.
Okay.
So we just focus on the Panorama. I can give a lecture also.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But the topic for today is
to take a charge in future. So do we have any scope in AI in future? Like if we just go ahead and get in, like go with Palo Alto and we can just correlate with AI?
I'm sorry, you were breaking a lot.
I'm saying, do we have any scope in future, like where we can implement the AI in our current role?
So AI role and machine learning role is completely different from getting into security. Okay, Next-Gen Firewall. This course will help you to successfully deploy and manage the Next-Gen Firewall solution in any of the environment. Okay, this course is designed for people who want to understand how to deploy and manage firewalls, specifically the Palo Alto Networks Next-Gen Firewalls. Okay, and the features it supports.
So hope it is not going to like AI is not going to steal our job, right? Sorry about worrying about job.
No, that's okay. So to be honest, I do not know how to implement or use AI, to be honest. Okay, I'm telling you straight away. Okay, but I don't have that fear right now. I don't have that fear right now. Now, there are so many talks around. Okay, AI will steal our job, ML will steal our job, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Eventually, you have these firewalls or networking devices will not go away. These will not go away. There will be a data center present somewhere in the world, right? Even AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, they have data centers, right? And they have a lot of networking devices over there. Now, who will configure those? You guys will configure those, right? You can build like something called a panorama, right? If a panorama was there, if a panorama was not there, then you'll have to manage 400 firewalls. Then possibly you'll have to keep a bigger team, right? But eventually, if you get a panorama, you need less number of folks in your team, right? Because managing from panorama is easier. But the requirement becomes less, but there still will be jobs. Eventually, you would have to troubleshoot what exactly is happening. The network is not going anywhere. Okay, we are here so that the internet can work. Okay, we make the internet work. That's the role of a network engineer, and that's the role of a network security engineer. Okay, so don't be afraid. These, as long as internet is there,
I think,
your job is secure.
I think so, but we should keep eye on AI also, because let's say what happening, let's say what we say, the troubleshooting part is going to be much easier via AI. As we can see, like multiple developers developing how we can troubleshoot very easily. Okay, so like in traditional way, there is a in current scenario also we have a tech engineer, okay, who supports for the troubleshooting. Okay, and simultaneously the Cisco also developing that kind of software who can I think DNAC also can analyze that your problem and find that exact solution, and it will implement that that it will like basically it will troubleshoot the that issue. Okay, if it is not happen, then it will forward that ticket to the next available engineer.
Do a first level of troubleshooting. Yeah, Palo Alto is doing this sort of thing for a lot of time, since a lot of time. Okay, now we have also built something called AIOps, and we are also working on something called Strata Cloud Manager. So you might have heard a term from our CEO called platformization. So we want to be able to manage all the Palo Alto Networks devices from a single platform. That's what platformization is. Okay. Now, AIOps, what it is currently doing is giving recommendations on best practices. It's giving recommendations on how many features you have adopted of the next-gen firewalls. Now, it will also give you recommendation what security policies you need to push to the firewall. But eventually, if in case something is failing, something is not working, you would have to troubleshoot yourself, right? You'd have to log into the firewall and see exactly what type of traffic is getting dropped. Why is it getting dropped? Try to isolate that issue, right? So getting so granular will always be the case. Okay, you would have to get into the things even after 5 years or 10 years, to be honest. That's what I see. Okay, I have been in this industry for 8 years, and I used to think that way as well. 5 years ago, that coders will take my job, coders will take my job. But yeah, you should learn how to automate basic things using Python. Okay, start learning Python, I would suggest. Okay, try to send codes or commands to the firewall. We support API. You can do that. But eventually, you'd still have to troubleshoot. You'd still have to know how your network works. And to be honest, if you understand how TCP works, how your networking works properly, you can get into anywhere. Okay, that's not just about Palo Alto Networks or getting into some other vendor. Okay, the main thing is make sure that your network is strong. And by the network, I don't mean LinkedIn network. Okay, I mean networking basics. Okay, so these are the topics that we'll be covering in Firewall Essentials. Okay, licenses and activation, where exactly we can deploy and what are the deployment modes, day one config and management, logging and visibility. Okay, we'll probably cover this at the end so that you see exactly how all of the features work. Now, advanced deep packet inspection, this will be content ID, and IPsec will also be covered. GlobalProtect and authentication will be covered. User ID and captive portal. High availability. Now, this is also very demanding topic. High availability. We can deploy the Palo Alto Networks in active and active passive mode or a standalone device. This will also be covered. Now, you'd be rarely seeing the firewall deployed in an active mode, but still we'll cover that since this is important for the exam. We'll also cover all sort of policies, security, NAT, PBF, decryption, and there is one more called DOS. And we'll cover operational and maintenance. So what you will be doing on a daily basis. Okay, pushing policies, and then also backup, how to take backup, how to fetch the dynamic updates. So this is where the firewall gets its signatures from. The Palo Alto Network says dynamic updates. Okay, then there are how to upgrade a firewall, standalone firewall. Okay, in Panorama, we try to understand how to upgrade 10 firewalls with a single click. You can also do that from Panorama. We'll try to cover what is ACC tab. We'll see what is monitor tab and dashboard. How can we modify these? How to build reports that we want. And in Panorama, we'll discuss similar things. Where can we deploy deployment modes, day one config, management, what is device groups and hierarchy, what is template stacks. This will be the most important things: onboarding firewalls, troubleshooting, log forwarding to Panorama. Okay, this is why the Panorama sells. Okay, and also operational and maintenance of Panorama.
So here,
okay, guys. I'm sorry. You're breaking up a lot. Could you type in that question? I'm unable to understand.
I'm sorry, I'm just traveling right now. So I'm saying in Panorama, we can manage the logs and for firewalls as well, right? Both do things in one device only.
Yes, we can do, not manage the logs. We say collect the logs. So the firewalls will send logs to the Panorama. Okay, and the Panorama has its deployment modes as well. So you can either configure the Panorama to only manage your firewalls, and your firewalls will send logs to a syslog server. That is also something that I've seen. Okay, but you can also configure your Panorama to do both of the things. You can configure your Panorama to do management and collect logs as well. Or you can also configure your Panorama to only collect logs. In that case, you will not get a GUI. You will only get CLI. Okay, we'll cover everything. Okay, this is what a basic overview of the content is like, and why Palo Alto Networks sells so much, and why you should be learning Palo Alto Networks. Okay, this course will make you ready for the PCNSE exam and also for the PCNSA exam. But my suggestion would be to directly get into this PCNSE stage and understand how the Palo Alto Networks platform works. Okay.
Could you just help us understanding the architecture of the Palo Alto?
Okay. Now, what do you mean by architecture? Because there are different meanings of architecture.
Like SP3, I think I was just going through with that. There is a SP3 process about. Help us with.
Yeah, I gave an overview of single pass inspection, what exactly it is. Okay. Now we'll cover in depth in the course what exactly it is, but let's just get into the overview of single pass and why exactly single pass software is important. Okay. Now single pass parallel processing hardware is something that we get in the big hardware platforms that Palo Alto Networks sell. Just getting through an overview, it's like, okay, if app ID cannot stop it, I have to stop it using URL filtering, or either way. This is the power of single pass inspection. Okay, because there are multiple features in Palo Alto and they have to work together. App ID, content ID, user ID, and decryption. Okay, all of this is done in a single pass inspection software. And that is what PANOS supports.
Hi, sir.
Yep.
So Panorama is something like we add the firewalls in it, or how exactly the Panorama works? Like we add a location firewalls.
Yeah, you have to onboard firewalls to Panorama. You have to onboard them manually. But now, therein, if you don't want to onboard firewalls manually, there is also an option of zero-touch provisioning. Okay, but to be honest, I've seen it used very rarely. Then it's mostly onboarding firewalls manually to Panorama and then managing it from Panorama.
Oh, thanks.
And send me one more clarity we have to give these guys. For the Panorama practical guys, you have to create accounts on cloud and you have to active the services. So Sanmay, you supposed to inform that how to do it and all, right, on cloud, right?
So do each of these people need a separate lab, you're saying?
Yes, correct. So let's take example that you are performing on your own laptop with the cloud help. Okay. So in the same way, they have to create their accounts on cloud, right? To do the practice and all.
So for that, these guys will need some information as well, like credit card information.
Yeah, they
AWS
have to. They
build.
have to. Yes, right. So they have to create accounts on either on AWS or Azure, and then they have to put their card details and all. Whatever they guys are using to.
I can guide them on how to spin their Palo Alto on the cloud and also to spin Panorama to the cloud. But what I'd suggest is I'll manage everything in the cloud on my end, and they can get access to that. Okay. So if in case they want to put some hands on to that, I will create an account for them on the Palo Alto web UI, and they can log into the firewall and see what exactly is happening and do something on that. Okay, that can also be very useful. But yeah, we can get into that discussion. If they require a separate lab for their use case, then yeah, we can do that as well. That's okay. That's not going to be a problem.
Rest guys, we have other labs. Like I'm sharing my screen. Sanmay, can you stop sharing your screen so that I'll share my screen so that they can see the labs and all. 1 minute.
Yep.
So guys, you can see my screen, right? Okay, so in the same way, let's take example, somebody is taking admission. After the admission, the guys are getting access for this lab. So rest like a Panorama is not here, but rest all the labs are here. So even you don't have to install any EVNG or something on your own laptop, because to perform like a HA practical, like a high availability practical, we need a 2 firewalls and rest of the devices. So for that, you need a high configuration laptop. To kill that particular issue, we have our own labs. So simply you have to log into the server and you have to start the devices from here, like in the same way. Let's say, for example, I have to start this device. Yeah, now this device is started. I can directly go on CLI mode and I'll take a GUI from here. So this is the lab that you guys are getting after the enrollment and all. If somebody is already enrolled, they are getting an email from the backend team. We have all the labs, like all what I can say, with the different topologies and all. We have all labs and all in this folder. Okay, any other question, guys? And from next Saturday, we have a full-fledged classes, like so Sanmay, for how many hours you want to take it, these classes, like a 2 hours or 2.5 hours or 3 hours?
I think somewhere between 2.5 hours to 3 hours would be fine.
Yes. Otherwise, guys, it's very difficult to finish in a 2-3 months. Like it's better to take it from day, like from the next Saturday, we'll take it around 2.5 hours, at least bare minimum.
So tomorrow there is a class or
No,
not?
tomorrow there is no class. From next Saturday, we have a proper full-fledged classes. Okay.
Timing would be the same, na?
Same. Saturday, Sunday,
Link,
11.
I mean, meeting link would be the same, or
Yes.
you will
No,
share
not
the
the same. This is just a webinar. We invited everyone. From next class onward, you guys are getting a link, like a direct links with the unique ID. You have to log in with that.
Fine.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Hello?
Thank you, Sanman. Yeah. Go ahead, guys. Any question?
Hi, is there
Hello?
any
How
Yeah.
many sessions
WhatsApp
will
group
have?
or any resources for
Guys, I
asking
cannot
help?
commit anything like how many session and all. It's such a full-fledged course. So based on your capability, that how you are learning, our intent is not to finish the batches on fast track. Our intent is whether people are understanding or not. So bare minimum 40, 45, 50 hours is there.
Got
Hello.
got you.
Hello.
Yeah, Manoj.
Hello. Regarding the labs, I have a question. So, do we need to use the existing labs, or can we go ahead and create our own labs?
That I'll have to check with the team, like a support team. I'll inform you guys separately.
Yeah, because I was trying to create a folder and it was not allowing. I mean, the folder was
Don't worry.
not
There's some permission which is required. I'll ask my team to get back to you. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So guys, thank you for today, and let's continue from next weekend.
I think Sumit has one question.
So the people who already